All right, how's everyone doing today? What is good? What is going on? Hey, this is Brian, aka Uncle B. This is Goodwood University office hours. I have been out of circulation for some interesting reasons, and so as soon as I had an opportunity, it's been a little while. I wanted to get back in here and just talk to folks and give them the information that's necessary so you can have that best life. Just in terms of your your performances, your health, everything overall. And today we're going to talk about yeah, we're going to talk about some what happens when you're dealing with erectile dysfunction. And a lot of times, how it can also be drug induced, which is an unfortunate thing because you're supposed to trust your doctor and all this other kind of stuff. But a lot of times we're dealing with people who just, hey, you know what? Here's this pill, and let's see what happens. You don't have a headache. Your Johnson doesn't work anymore. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? But yeah, hey, what's going on, Todd? What's going on? Hey, but yeah, I do want to give my a quick apology right quick for why I have not been around. Yeah, ED can be a mental concern. Definitely, definitely. We can talk about that too. But yeah, one of the things that's happened recently is there's been a change in YouTube's algorithm. These folks figured it was a great idea to stop people like me who would just sit there and talk about how to get healthy naturally. They'd rather have people with lab coats on who would talk about getting healthy as long as you take some pills and you pay for it for the rest of your life. That is not something we're down with. So they changed the algorithm on us. I mean, we got enemies. We got enemies. For the folks who want to have that good life where you don't have to, be a pincushion, you don't have to live with pills. Yeah, drug overlords, they took over YouTube. So fortunately, I can still go live. But as far as the algorithm's concerned and the way some of the other videos were going, couldn't do what I wanted to because of that. So um, but yeah, so today we're going to be talking about drugs and erectile dysfunction, and we got the comment section open. If you have any questions, please go ahead and leave them in there. I really do appreciate it. It's always a wonderful thing to be able to talk with folks and exchange information. So let me know what is going on. So yeah, if you ever wondered about whether or not medicines can cause erectile dysfunction, the answer is yes. I know this from a client who I don't remember what the drug was, but he took it, and shortly after that, he wasn't functioning, and he had some issues before that. I think he said he was like a 6 or 7, and he went down to a 0, as in he had no functioning at all, which is a terrible situation to be in. And though that type of effect is very strong, it's hard to come back from. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to tell the truth about the pills, the pharmaceuticals, and drugs. And once again, my name is Brian, aka Uncle B, and this is what I do. I'm a men's performance coach with Goodwood, and we're going to talk today about how the drugs specifically affect your body. And if you could go ahead, hit that like button and subscribe button. You know how we get down over here in these YouTube streets. It's all helpful to help the algorithm, though the algorithm doesn't want to necessarily help me. Just to give you a little background, why I'm talking about this one in particular is because I worked at NIH, that's the National Institute of Health. I actually worked in an animal testing facility. That's where they take the animals, you gather them together. We're talking about monkeys, dogs, and mice, mainly monkeys and mice. Now they don't do as much work with the dogs. Well, this was quite a while ago. I was working there, but it was interesting to me because what they would say is that we're testing the animals. And I'm like, these animals aren't functioning like humans. So I mean, yeah, the reason why they use monkeys because of course they're close to us, and they use mice because they're close to us and they reproduce quickly. So you can see over generations supposedly what happens when you take a drug. However, there's more. The problem is that they're in cages and they have a steady diet. So if you think about it, they're testing, certain drugs. What they'll do is do a trial on the animals, then they'll do a trial on humans. The trial on the humans, that's a completely different thought process because they'll do it on a like 100 to a couple of hundred people, and then say, oh, well, it's good to sell this product to millions of people. The math doesn't make any sense right there. But in terms of what they do with the animals, because they're in cages, because they don't have they don't have kids. Well, I mean, they have kids. They don't have, the issues that we going through. It's like, yeah, this monkey took this pill, and years later, I'm taking the same pill, but the monkey was in the cage, was eating the same food. I got kids in the back, was arguing with my wife earlier, late to work, just grabbed a coffee and an egg McMuffin. This is disaster waiting to happen. This is not a good situation. So, when we're talking about, the process that they use to get pharmaceuticals from, conception to inside of you, it's not it's based off of getting money. Let's just put it there. Let's be plain. It's based off of getting money. So the process they use, isn't as good as it could be. Let's just say that. And once again, I'm not against drugs per se. I am against it when it's used incorrectly. Hey, what's going on, Larry? California in the house. Um, because here's something to understand. Basically, you're a chemical bag. I'm a chemical bag. Everybody's a chemical bag. We just got the skin that holds all of this stuff in. But when it comes down to it, we're affected by our environment, whether it's hot, cold, or indifferent. By whether or not we're stressed. Of course, we're talking about genetics and, your physical makeup, your current physical makeup, and if you had some issues in your past, and obviously your nutrition. So anything you're putting into your body has to have a chemical reaction to it. You put food in there, that's the reason why it doesn't come back out the same. It comes up back out as waste. So nutrition is highly important. But when it comes to the pills, they're incredibly cheap to make. That's an issue. We're talking about you can make 7,000 pills in a pill machine in a day. This actually, I got that number a while ago, so I'm quite sure they have bigger pill machines. I mean, think about it. If you go past a pharmacy, you go past a Rite Aid, you go past, yeah, you can go into Wegmans, you go wherever you want to go, a grocery store, where there's always pills there. How is that possible? People, it's shelves filled with pills. It's because they're extremely cheap to make. You can make 325 pounds of pills. I mean, think about how small a pill is. You can make that at a time. And a lot of times people will say, okay, well, they have they're natural. There's some pills that they say will call natural. All pills have to have, well, they'll have an active ingredient, but they have to have the binder in it, the things that keep the pill together. And they have the color coding and everything like that. And one pill can cost 3 cents. And so they'll turn around and sell, especially when they were doing Viagra, they were selling Viagra pills at like $3, but it'll cost them 3 cents to make. Mm-hmm. Mm. Yep, 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 yep. Yeah, Larry, I hear you, man. Once again, yeah. Please go ahead, hit me up in the comment section if you got any questions. But yeah, here's the thing about pills. I'm not talking about capsules that are filled with, powdered herbs. When you're talking about pills, they have ingredients that have never seen the sun. I mean, you think about it, we all run off of the sun. All the plants and everything runs off the sun. So we have ingredients. If you look at them, make the pills themselves, the daggone they have hazmat suits on. Because they can't breathe in what they're pressing into that pill. I mean, some reasons sort of obvious, some are just sort of scary because pills are at the end of the day the deadest form of food that we can eat. I mean, if you take a potato chip, yes, it's been fried and salted and preserved and everything like that, and you can eat it, but it came from the sun. The potato itself came from the sun. When it comes to a pill, nothing in there comes from the sun. So we have to be careful about that because when it comes to your body on pharmaceuticals, Western medicine is designed to get you back to work. Think about that. It's like, hey, we gotta. You come in, you're injured, whatever. We're gonna tape you up, get you back together, and get you out there. You need to take these pills so you can function better. Let's go for it. And so there's a whole process that's designed to maintain your illness for profit because it's like, hey, you can get back to work, but come on back, and we want to sell you some more of these drugs. And if you don't, you know, keep on taking it over and over again for the rest of your life, something's wrong with you. And I think that's one of the things that we have an issue with as a society, as a planet right now, is that we have this thought process that anything that's wrong with me, I have to take a pill. I'm just going to take a pill. That's it. I'm not going to look at the patterns, not going to look at what I've done. I'm not going to look at what got me here, but just take the pill. And if you talk to doctors, they will readily admit that they understand that they're just legalized drug dealers, but they can't do anything else. You see what I'm saying? It's like, they don't have enough time to like say, hey, let me run down. Let's do a deep dive. Let's find out what's going on with you. Let's find out uh, 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 what caused you to get here to begin with. They're just like, oh, these are the symptoms. These are the drugs that we can get. Pardon me. Get to take care of that. So just have to be careful when it comes to the drugs. And we'll get little bit deeper on that right here, actually. Um, so, one of the things that they'll say is you have to take blood pressure medicine, diabetes medicines. They'll tell you have to take medicines for the rest of your life, and they won't talk about the nutrition. And that's scary because doctors typically only have like 20 hours of study on nutrition, which like nutrition runs us. It's sort of like a NASCAR chief not knowing what type of fuel to put into the car. I mean, that's a dangerous thing. So, um, when it comes to other things, when we talk about recreational drugs, weed is not great for erections. I know a lot of people think in different ways about that. It's like, come on, man, it's weed, but that psychoactive side of it, the THC can make you horny and sleepy. That's true. But however, the higher the THC is, the less of a healthy effect it's going to have you, especially when it comes to your sex life. And by the way, just inhaling toxins into your body is never a good thing. And smoking, just smoking in general, is actually going to cause your platelets to get sticky. Now, when it comes to your erections, that's an issue because you're talking about one blood platelet at a time going through the veins in your penis. That's how small it is down there. So you have to be very careful. Of course, when we talk about the hardcore drugs, I mean, they're just going to damage your entire body. So we definitely want to stay away from that. And the the most interesting poison of all, which is alcohol. Alcohol is just a poison that happens to make you feel woozy. Obviously, drinking too much alcohol is going to cause a ton of issues, including impotency. Uh, so yeah, one of the things I just want to be very clear about when you go to the doctor, whenever someone says, "Hey, take this pill," first thing you do, go ahead. Just call the internet. You can look up the pill. You can do all the research behind the pill, figure out what's going on. Because the thing you have to be careful about when you're talking to a doctor or anyone about a particular pill, they're making that pill so that it can uh, do whatever they say it's going to do. That's their mission. It's like, hey, you have headaches. Okay, when you take this pill, it's going to lessen the firing of the neurons in your brain, which will slow your brain down. You'll have less of a headache. Now, it also may cause you to have a problem with your erections. This is especially true when products such as products dealing with depression. A lot of times, the products that deal with depression are actually going to cause you to have ED issues, which is a level of insanity to me. Because it's like whatever problems I got in my head, I don't need for you to add that into the mix. That could have been one of the problems that was leading to there to begin with. What's going on? Stylish over 60. I like that, man. What's going on, Ken? Detroit in the house. Uh-huh. So yeah, we want to be very careful with the pharmaceuticals that you're taking. There are, I always tell people whenever I'm doing coaching with them, is like, hey, what are the drugs that you're taking? You don't have to tell me, but just let's go ahead and start listing them out and looking at what is behind them because you could find out that one of the drugs that you're taking actually causes you to have erection issues, and you don't want that. There are people who can. It's hard to come back from that. Let's just say that. Uh huh. Okay. So, and the other thing I do want to say before I want to hop into the comment section, just chat with you guys. What's going on, Tony? Uh huh. Okay, we're gonna talk about the Viagra. That's a good question. Um, so yeah, what you want to do is definitely advocate for yourself, sir. Advocate, as in, if the doctor says, "Hey, I need for you to take this," ask him why. What is the reasons? What is his thought processes? And then do your own research. And if it comes back with an answer you don't like, then cut it off. Cut it off. All right, let me go ahead and hop into some questions. I have some other things I want to say, but I want to get these questions in. Hmm Yeah, Tai Quan Gong. I hope I'm saying that correctly, sir. ED can be a mental concern, and yeah, it can be. And also could be like it's a combination. What I say a lot of times is that when it comes to ED and how you think, it can be a downward spiral, especially if you're like stressing yourself out. So when it comes to the chemicals in your body, people often think that testosterone and estrogen are, against each other when that's not true. It's actually testosterone and stress, cortisol. So the higher your cortisol levels, the lower your testosterone. The interesting thing is, I mean, the way the body works is amazing. It's like you need cortisol to wake up, and your testosterone is highest first thing in the morning. So, um, it's that combination of things. But if you're overloading yourself with cortisol, you're going to run into problems. And that's that stress side of it. So if you're thinking all the time about the fact that you have ED or weak erections, it becomes a self fulfilling prophecy. Really, when it comes down to it, it's like I always say that it's that your mental is 20% of the battle. Your physical is that other 80%. Because if the physical isn't worked, the mental can't overcome. It's like I just want to have an erection, and yeah, not after all that, all the drugs and rock and roll that you did all your life. You can't all of a sudden just turn it around because you think about it. So there's that thing to consider. hmm let's see. Yeah, Tony. Uh, is Viagra in a good dose? Does it does it do harm to a man's body? So yeah, when it comes to Viagra is actually what it does. It stops a it's basically kills a chemical that stops the blood flow from leaving out of your penis. So blood just naturally goes into your penis, whether you have an erection or not, just like any other part of your body. However, if you're taking Viagra, it'll stop it from leaving out of the penis. That means that, that'll means you have that erection. That also means if it does too good of a job, you got one of those assassin Viagra pills. That's what leads to that 4 hour erection. And for people who say, "Oh yeah, 4 hour erection, what do I do with that?" Yeah, you'd be in pain. You don't take your thumb, and you take your thumb and squeeze it until like it just blood is trapped in there. Not a good idea. And by the way, in order to rectify that situation, they have to go in with a syringe and pull the blood out. Ooh, not worth it. Not worth it. So yeah, you want to be very careful about taking Viagra. In fact, I would, we have Goodwood. You can go to givegoodwood.com. That's an all natural liquid supplement that can help you with your erections and blood flow. And it actually deals with the cause of the issue. That's the thing with Viagra. Viagra is dealing with the symptom, which is you don't have an erection. So it's going to fix that part. But the problem is that if you have erection issues, that means it's already problems within your body. So uh, you got to deal with those with those issues right there because your testosterone is low. Your blood flow is not there. Those are the two main indicators of erection issues. Um, so you have to deal with those things first. So yeah, be careful with the Viagra. You can go to givegoodwood.com. Yes, indeed. All right. Uh huh. Mm. All right. Richie, it's the H in the house, represented from NC. No problem getting an erection, morning wood all the time. My man, okay. But maintaining an erection during sex is a problem. That is, unfortunately, a normal occurrence. So, there could be reasons behind that because obviously if you're having morning erections your testosterone is good, there's blood flow, things could be there, so we're more or less looking at a mental, I'm going to say mental issue, but a stress issue. So you may be having a stressor uh, right before sex. And this could come in a lot of different forms. For example, um, there's a thing that, if you're having sex and you don't have a good performance, your erection doesn't show up, she comes over, she's dressed, she's looking high, and nothing. And then the next time you do it, maybe things worked out, but the time after that, nothing. And so you end up with a thought process like, oh, this is going to happen again. So you go into this process of thinking like, she's coming over. Do I have an erection? Well, she just came in the door. Do I have an erection? She's just took her coat off. Do I have an erection? We go into the bedroom. Do I have an erection? You're actually just building up cortisol in your body. You're stressing yourself out. Um, and so you just get to a point where it's like that cortisol, that testosterone I was talking about earlier is completely out of balance. When you're having sex, it is a balance between stress and pleasure. That's the reason why we make those sounds. But, if you're already going into it with too much stress, especially as a man, you can't function. So one of the things you have to do is just a lot of times people just hearing this is like, oh, it just calms down. I talked to a guy who had this particular issue, and then he saw better results right after that because he was able to think like, oh, don't worry about it, I'm good, because he was having erections, he was having not issues. And here's another thing. This goes into the relationship side of things. When it comes to your relationships, remember that if you're seeing a person, let's say you're in a relationship and you just normal life, you have some stress some days you don't. If you have stress and you see a person, you have stress, you see a person, you have stress, you see a person. After a while, you see a person, you have stress. See how that works? So, what I tell couples to do all the time is like, yeah, take a break, as in drop the kids off somewhere, you two just go somewhere. You don't have to plan anything extravagant. Just be by yourselves. Go for it. Just relax. Because the thing is, it's called a rut for a reason. It's because you're stuck in there and it's hard to get back out. So, um, see, John, what? I'm not seeing any answers. Any answers to what, sir? Lead the question. Lead the question. I'm good with the answers, man. So, uh, but yeah, you want to be able to go out and enjoy yourself, relax around the person, so that you're not stressed around them all the time. You want to create moments. I always tell people at the end of your life, what you end up remembering are moments. You don't remember, just hey, it's Tuesday and I went to work. You don't remember that. You want to remember the moments, so you need to make those moments. Okay. Uh, Okay, cool, cool. Yeah, John, hit me up. Let me know what the question is. And back to Ty. Is coffee good for you? There's two forms of trains of thought on that. One is the coffee that we get, was especially in the United States, the coffee we get here is questionable. And that's the real thing, because if you're getting coffee from, like Colombia or something like that, South America, and you're getting it fresh, then that's good because it's fresh. But, the whole thing of freeze drying coffee, I mean, so many people have never seen what a coffee bean is and they wouldn't know what to do with it. And if you're seeing the coffee bean, it came from another country. So how long is what do they have to do in order for that coffee to actually stay there? So in terms of your sexual health, um, one of the things you have to be careful with coffee is that it will actually what's the word I'm looking for? Coffee will, one, increase your stress level. Two, if you're drinking it 10 to 12 hours before you go to sleep, it makes it harder to go to sleep, which is a problem because you need your sleep in order to build up your testosterone, which you need for erections. You see how this all circles in, ties in together. And the most important thing is that a lot of people will drink coffee with cream and sugar. It's like that's their thing. And it's like, well, both of those things are not good for erections. So, cream in and of itself, milk, uh, yeah, that'll actually lower your testosterone immediately. And sugar will lower your testosterone for a period of time. So you're taking something that has stress in it, you're going to add sugar in it, add milk in it. Ah, it's not a good thing. So, if I drink coffee, I'm not a coffee drinker, but if I do, I try to look for, the best brand that I can. And, I drink it black. Yeah. So that way you don't have to worry about, you don't have to worry about falling apart, I guess you would say, in terms of, you got all that. Uh huh. Hmm. All right. So, Mr. Hicks, could it be venous leakage? What is your take on horse chestnut? Uh, Actually, I'm a loss for both. If it's venous leakage, if you suspect that, obviously go check with your doctor, because you need to have that inspected. And horse chestnut, not familiar. Uh, that's the wonderful thing about this, and thank you for letting me know. The wonderful thing about being this, talking about supplements and herbs and stuff like that, there are 250,000 edible species of plants on this planet, and we only use like 4%. So there's always something new. I just found out about Huamparo macho. Yeah, never heard of this before. This is from South America. Did a video on it. And actually, if you go to givegoodwood.com, you'll find it there as well. But yeah, there are a ton of herbs out there that I've never heard of, but that can be good for you. So yeah. Once again, this is Brian, aka Uncle B. This is Goodwood University office hours. Appreciate everybody who is on here, especially all my guys, Todd, Larry, uh, stylish over 60. What's going on, Ken? Yeah, Tony. All great questions. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So, yeah, we'll be doing this a lot more often. Once again, I have to apologize for taking, I guess I took like a quarter break after YouTube basically shut down my channel, changed the algorithm up on me. But, we're back because I'm here in support of you. If you would like to, please go ahead and check out givegoodwood.com. We are actually coming out with a coaching, and this is incredible. I want to go ahead and say this, and please leave any questions before we head up out of here. But we're going to be doing a lot more coaching this year, and one of the things that's really powerful about the coaching that we're about to do is that we have the capacity to check on you every day. I'm not saying spot. I'm saying we're going to send messages, because that's one of the things that people, whenever they're going through a coaching program, like, whenever they read a book, 80% of people who start a book don't finish, who buy the book don't finish it. So, we want to make sure that everyone that comes through our program, comes through our coaching program, what we do is we do a deep dive. We find out exactly everything about your lifestyle so we can figure out, there may be something missing. Let me give you a quick example. We were dealing with a guy who was he was a teacher and also a basketball coach. And everything was going fine. Then one time he just hit a wall. He just couldn't, he wasn't performing. Everything was good with his wife. Everything was good with the kids. Everything was good with the house, but he wasn't performing. We were just going through and trying to figure out what happened. Come to think of it, come to think of it, what ended up happening was, as a teacher, it was the first year that he did summer school. Now, you may think that's not a big deal, but you have to think about in terms of your lifestyle and over a period of a year. This is the summertime. You're no longer outside. You're not with your kids. You're not relaxing. You're more in a stressful situation, and typically inside. So you're not getting that vitamin D that you would need to power yourself all the way through. So yeah, you would definitely, once we start diving in, we can find out things that are working out well for you. And just to answer Ty's question, are you still selling African Fly? The answer is yes. You can go to africanfly.com. We just did a rebranding. African Fly is now called Goodwood. It's just a little bit easier to explain to people. That's the whole branding thing right there. But you can still go to africanfly.com. It is the same formula. Over at Goodwood, we do have Goodwood Advanced, which is, we added stinging nettle to the formula. That way, this is for guys who are older. As we get older, our testosterone starts turning into estrogen. That's the reason why it becomes harder to gain muscle and lose fat, and you get the crotchety old man syndrome. That's because your testosterone levels are coming down. And so with stinging nettle, did our research. NIH proved this. There's other studies that were done that said when you take herb like stinging nettle, you put it with other herbs that can help with testosterone, it works. And yes, Goodwood Advance works. So yes, we still have africanfly.com if you just want to, for old time's sakes, go ahead and get that. But we do have Goodwood at givegoodwood.com. All right. Uh, and what is considered older? I'm over 40. Yeah, that puts you in line for the Goodwood Advance. It starts roughly at 40. Yeah, basically 40, 45. Obviously, it depends on your lifestyle, things of that nature, but that's when that process starts. Uh-huh. All right. Stylish over 60. Can getting a vasectomy have a negative effect on getting an erection? Yeah. And once again, I'm not a doctor. I don't pretend to play one on YouTube or any place else, but I would say whenever you're dealing with surgery, is a risk. For did a video on guys with prostate cancer, and just the process of going down there. There's just nerve endings, and in the process of any level of cutting, you get a nerve ending. Well, it takes a long time to repair. Guys who have prostate surgery, if you look up, it only takes you 2 months to get back in the saddle. If you're not lucky, it could be 2 to 3 years. So yeah, you want to be very careful. If there's a way to avoid that, then then do that. Then do that. Be very careful. Uh, yeah, obviously there's ways to avoid that. So, but great question, Ken. Appreciate that. Well, yeah, we are coming up on that half an hour. I want to once again thank everybody. Once again, this is Brian, aka Uncle B. I will be back doing a lot more videos. I like doing the office hours. I love the questions. Thank you very much, guys. And John, you never let me know what the what you were looking for as far as the answer is concerned. So, uh, but yeah, look out for the videos. We'll be doing 1 o'clock during the week, and we're gonna make it happen. So this is Brian, aka Uncle B, saying get your game up and go hard. Peace out.